So we're going to want to go to node.js. And so if you're on Windows, so this is LTS is long-term support. So that basically means it's the version that they're saying that is like most stable, like it's the most stable version. And then the current version is just like the latest. So that's saying like the latest and greatest technology that Node.js has to offer. So Node.js, that is a JavaScript library manager. So it helps you manage your website tools, like the tools that you put together in your website. So for example, I'm just really jumping into some code here. There's this video game called TooManyChefs. So it is 95.4% JavaScript, 2.9% CSS, and then 1.7% HTML. So it's mostly JavaScript, and NPM is going to help us manage the JavaScript. So let's see if I can just give like an example of the game. Okay, here we go. So here's the URL for the game. So they actually started a website for this game, right? So here it is. This is, so imagine you have this website. So they that's just music. How do I turn the music off? Anyway, so it's this website. I'll just talk over the music. It'll be like elevator music. So they got this domain, and their JavaScript site is being hosted here. And here I can just type in start to begin. And we can do like solo. So see how it's a text-based video game, but it's still a website. I hope you guys can see my screen. Just stop me at any time if you can't see something. So yeah, it's called TooManyChefs, and it's a text-based game, and it has to do with multitasking. So let's just, so like when I type in PLAY, that's how I'm selecting the different things. And notice there's a loading screen here. So this is all HTML being displayed, but the JavaScript is really the interactive part of it. Like as you saw, it was 95% of that code repository. So I'll press Q and P to start. So you can see on the left this is timer, on the right this is timer. So I have to, let's see, basically cook oats and cereal at the same time. Okay, so type RIP, take the bag. Let's see, for P to take out the pods. See on the left side. So it's this like interactive game, and it has to do with like your reaction time and multitasking ability. So now I'm like multitasking by I talk and teach and do this. That's like 3 multitasking. And oh, and this one on the left, I'm moving the arrow to medium, and then had to type in check. So I mean, I can keep going on this, but I think you guys got the point. It's a pretty fun game. I mean, if you like stuff like this, we don't have to make a game like this, but just for the course, I think it'll help you all like understand how to make your own websites. So that's really the end goal of the class is to be able to make your own game, focusing on this kind of text-based interactive type of style. Does anyone have any questions about that so far? All right, keep going. Yeah, just stop me anytime, and you can always ask me after class. Just email me at message me at ceo@datasophical.com. So here's the code for what you just saw for that website. So we'll keep going over these concepts, but you saw that they had this domain. So they actually purchased this domain. They probably bought it on Google Domains. Wow, okay. Google Domains, if I can just spell. Google Domains. Let's see, so you can register a domain. So for example, this should be taken. So they're using this .party. So you can buy a domain that's like .com, .org, .net. There's like all these different dots, but for whatever reason, well, because it's more available when you do this extension on here. So for example, if we search this on Google Domains, it should be taken, or maybe they might have it for sale. That's possible. So let's see. It's kind of slow, but okay. So here it is. They're showing the prices for these different domains that are similar. So they're not showing the domain.party. So that must be some other extension they bought. But they're saying that you can buy TooManyChef. See, they don't have the exact one. They have one TooManyChef.net. They're giving like suggested names because let's see, the org one is available. There it is, TooManyChefs.org. You can buy that. You can buy TooManyChefs.info, TooManyChefs.us. So technically, you can build your own website. You pay $12 a year for this one, but yeah, moving on from that. So how websites really work is you're hitting this domain, hitting this URL, and it's going to return HTML. It's going to run JavaScript on your browser, and that's what's going to produce the effect of the website. So after, yeah, sorry, I didn't say which one you should install. So you should install the LTS NodeJS, because that's the most stable one. So yeah, if you haven't already installed it, but if you installed the current, that's okay too. I think both work fine, but the LTS is going to be more stable. But don't worry if you install the current one. And then if you're on a Windows 32-bit, get that one. If you're on 62-bit, for Windows, you're going to want to look at like My Computer info. That should tell you if you have a 64-bit or not. If you have trouble finding that info, just message me. Here's the Mac OS for 64-bit. I don't believe there's a 32-bit version available for this, but if you have problems, just message me. So yeah, try installing this Node.js, and then what you're gonna want to do after you install Node.js is go to this link. Let me drop this in the chat. Oh, didn't want to do that. So yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna want to download the source code. So GitHub is a code repository. It's a place where people put their code for free, and you can actually join this project, and you can probably even contribute to this person's project. You just have to put in what's called a pull request. I don't know if I can or not. Yeah. Choose a different branch. So what they want you to do is probably make a branch. Well, let's not go too much into that. I think that's more for a different class. But yeah, you would want to make a different branch and then create a pull request to the author and see if they will accept your request. And that's how you can contribute. This person doesn't have a developer's guide. Most GitHubs do. So there are a bunch of folders on here, right? There's the audio, that's like the music that you may have heard in the background when you started the website. And the CSS is like the visual part of the HTML, like what colors the text and what colors the background. And the images are like, maybe they had some background image or something, or some logos. I mean, we can actually see, right? The chef hat image, the cover, yeah, the background. The JavaScript is the bulk of what is in here. That's what most of the code is. So that's what we'll really be focusing on for most of the class. Oh yeah, so someone asked why, how come when every time you try to download it, the Node.js, it always moves it to the trash. So that's because it's probably installing it. It's going to install it. You're going to download if you're on Mac, a DMG. file. You're going to install it, and then afterwards, it's going to download it to. Sorry, after you install it, it's going to delete it, and it's going to go to your trash. So here we can go to. Let me just. Yeah, that was a other thing. Sorry about that. So you're going to want to, let's just open up the command prompt. So once, to know that you've installed it, on Mac, you're going to want to open up your, what's called your terminal. If you're on Windows, it's going to be your command line, I believe. I'll try to get those instructions out, but let me know if you have trouble with that. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to type in npm and into your command line, and you should get some kind of output like that, right? Like it should tell you whether you downloaded it correctly or not. So for this code, we're gonna go ahead and download it. Download the zip. All right, so now I downloaded TooManyChefs into my documents. So let me see if I can go into that. CD TooManyChefs. Maybe it's downloads. So CD TooManyChefs. There it is. All right. So you guys got to see a little bit of some command line stuff, like how I was able to move through the command line. And you can see like I'm in the folder right now. I did pwd, which is just looking at your directory. Let's see. Yeah, we have some more time. So as you can see, I'm in the directory where I saved the my code. Right, you just have to go to the GitHub, click code, and then download zip. We'll get more into like how to do that through the command line using this this Git link. But let's just start out easy, and let's just download the zip. Does anyone have any questions, or is anyone stuck on any part of that? Yeah, and so the let's see. All right, so now that we have it downloaded into our folder, you're gonna want to, and now that you have npm installed, which is Node.js, you're gonna want to run npm install within that folder. So you're gonna run npm install, but you have to be inside the TooManyChefs folder. So just ran that, and then you can see like what the output of that is going to look like. So yeah, it's just downloading a bunch of stuff, extracting, downloading files. Okay, it says I had an error. So I think it's a permissions error. Your cache file contains root-owned files. All right, so I'm just going to kill this by using Control-Z on the Mac. And let's see here. Let's try sudo npm install. I think that should do it. So I think I'll need to I'm just going to go ahead and do root, run it as root. Maybe not always the best practice depending on what packages you're using, but because I'm familiar with this code base, I'm going to go ahead and just take the risk and run the sudo. In other words, when you do that, you're like giving the program some extra permissions to install itself. So if you're doing that, you want to make sure that you trust that source. So I read through this code. It's not sending any kind of data anywhere. If you have to run sudo or add some permissions for this, it's okay. But if you really are like not okay with it, and you're like still like, I don't know if I want this, I would advise starting a virtual machine, like VirtualBox, and downloading maybe like a Windows or Linux image on a VirtualBox, and then you can do all your coding and installing there, just so you can have a separate environment from on your laptop. But I would say in this case, I don't think it's necessary. So yeah, this is just downloading the all the Node stuff. Yeah, it's taking quite a while. Okay. So after that finishes installing, you'll be able to run npm start, which is going to actually start the website, and then we'll be able to access it. So let me finish up with going through these files while that's installing. So this git ignore is just you're like ignoring some files and folders that you don't want to upload to GitHub. So these would be things that would just be on your local machine, but you don't need to upload them. This is just the README file. This is literally what's messaging this. Favicon, that's like an image, or is it an image? We can view it. Okay, that's weird. Maybe it's just, oh, there it is. It's like a little hat. It's really hard to see. It's dim. So that's just an image. We'll look and see like where that frame is actually used. But anyway, here's the index.html. That's like the main HTML file for running the bulk of the game, like for the visual side. Of course, the JavaScript is the bulk of it, but this is more like, let's say, like the foundation, like the framework. So you can see it's an HTML file. There's a lot of metadata at the top. It's just like storing variables for things. Let's see what else is here. This is a script in JavaScript. It looks like for like Google Analytics for their website. Something with like helping them figure out like how people are using the website. But let's see here. I'm trying to find interesting stuff in here. So package.json is going to be like these files that the npm is installing right now as we're talking. And like for example, this looks like a library. By the way, you know, most programmers aren't expected to memorize each and every library, but it's something that you can pick apart, and it's like you learn as much as you need to get to the next step. In other words, like I don't need to know what assert, asap, what all of these are doing to modify the game. I only need to know about the parts that I'm interested in. So that was a lock file. I think this is a better folder file. Okay, this is a better way to look at it. So there's like Bootstrap. That has to do with your visual stuff. React is it's a framework, a JavaScript framework that helps you make your websites faster. So that's something that we're gonna dive deep in. So this is one library where we will focus on. And what it's saying is version 15. So let's see if that downloaded. Yeah. Okay, so somebody got a warning when they tried to install. All right, so I think warnings are okay. Like you can see on my screen, I got this npm warn, no repository field. So that's okay. That is not a problem. You can ignore these warnings as long as you don't have any red errors. I think you're gonna be okay. So yeah, you can see on my screen, that's when the install happened. And this is just like some messaging. And then we got these warnings, which is okay. So you can just ignore that. You don't have to run this npm audit fix. What that's doing is it's trying to resolve some kind of library conflicts that this, right? So this npm NodeJS is like a library manager. So it's trying to help you manage your things, and it's saying, oh, we found these 192 vulnerabilities. So, you know, linking to this our cybersecurity class, that might be something interesting to look at. But for this, it's just going to be, it's not going to be running this website publicly facing. What we're going to do is run the website within our own computer, so it's like in a box. So what we're going to want to do is, and these instructions pretty much have it, is go in the folder and run npm start. So you have the game, you're in the folder of the game, and you're here in the same folder where the package.json is specifically, and you're going to run npm start after your npm install, and it should, in theory, start your local website. So right here I have npm start, TooManyChefs. So it's saying, okay, this is the location of your website. Watchify, not quite sure what Watchify is. I believe it's some kind of JavaScript framework that's helping us do this. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, written to, all right, so the website is working. That's some kind of output. So let me do a new tab. All right, so I'm gonna open this folder with open dot. That's just the Mac command. All right, so let's see if the website is actually running. So I'm gonna double click on this index.html. And let's see if this actually works. So if you installed, assuming you installed npm and everything, you should see this TooManyChefs type start to begin. So that means you installed it right, and that means your npm is up and running. Oh man, I wanted to just do tabs. That means your npm is up and running, right? So we can see it's running JavaScript right there. So let's go back to the website. So yeah, if it didn't work, you're gonna just see loading. You're just gonna see a loading screen. It's gonna say something like preparing kitchen or something like that. So here, I just did start. Now I'm typing solo. And I'm actually starting the game, right? So this is actually running on my local machine. You can see the link here. For the next class, we'll get more into like if you can modify the video game. That's the next thing I think we'll start to get to, is we're gonna try to modify at least the loading screen. That'll be the next step, and then we'll see if we can modify the video game, and then from there we'll try to create our own video game. So I'll teach you how to make your own video game website from there. But we just have to get past this first start. Email me if you, or reach out to me if you have any questions or if you're stuck. And yeah, thank you for joining, and I'll see you next class. Bye.